Pleasure to meet you. So beautiful. Thank you. So beautiful.
I know.
There's your shoes.
So is this Valentino?
네, 맞습니다. 발렌티노.
I'm Annie.
I know.
What's your name?
Closer.
My name is Keo.
Keo? Keo, nice to meet you.
예전에 랄프 오렌 쇼에서 뵌 적 있어요. In New York.
Oh, yes, yes, the most recent one. Wonderful. How lovely to see you
네,
again.
맞아요.
Did we take a photo together there?
아니요, 못 찍었어요.
Okay.
바쁘시죠?
Well, maybe today.
Yes.
네, 이렇게 뵙게 돼서 진심으로 영광으로 생각합니다. 앤 해서웨이 배우님은 지금 두 번째 방문으로 알고 있고 메릴 스트립 배우님은 한국의 첫 번째 방문으로 알고 있는데요. 소감이 어떠신지 궁금합니다.
I'm very excited because I've never been here and I've always wanted to visit, and now I'm extremely frustrated because all I see is Korea out the window. But it's really whet my appetite to come back and stay and travel and go outside of the city as well.
I'm so happy to be back. I'm so happy. It's a little bit mean to be here having such a beautiful day outside. But luckily, we're here talking about a movie that we love with someone that we're so excited to meet. And I'm told that Disney will bring me some of the food that I understand is really good in Korea right now, like tissue bread and cake from raspberry fruit, which I'm very excited to try. So I'm just trying not to be too jealous of my family, who is outside right now enjoying wonderful Seoul. And I'm very much enjoying being here with you.
두 분을 뵙게 돼서 정말 다시 한번 아주 무한한 영광으로 생각하고 있습니다. 다른 질문은 다른 곳에서도 많이 받으실 것 같아서 그냥 직접적으로 들어가 보면 악마는 프라다를 입는다라는 이 영화는 전 세계인의 사랑과 특별히 뭐 저의 사랑과 또 저도 너무나 좋아하는 영화이기 때문에 모두에게 한 편만 봤어도 잊을 수 없는 그런 영화인데 20년 만에 똑같은 역할을 제의를 하게 되셨어요. 어떠셨나요? 듣고 싶습니다.
Oh, it was amazing. I've never had the chance to do anything like that, especially with an experience that I loved the first time. Interesting, it had so much of an impact on the culture, not just at home, but around the world. That took me by surprise a little bit. And so to come back 20 years later, to revisit women at these wildly different, a generation later, to see what they've done with their lives, is really, really interesting to see where Andy went after she threw the phone into the fountain, and where Miranda took that car to. Where did she stay? At the top of her profession? Did she? What are the new challenges that are attended in this new world of digital magazines? And you know that everything has changed, and so I was so happy to come back to the world I knew, the actors I love, but in a completely different context.
I was just so happy. It was just such an amazing, it's just been an amazing 20 years of witnessing fans take this film so deeply into their hearts and choose it again and again and again. I can't tell you how many people who are now adults told me that it was the film that when they saw it when they were a young person made them realize that they wanted to be a journalist or have a career in fashion or just have a career at all. And I don't take that lightly. It's incredibly meaningful. People have been asking for years if we were ever going to make a sequel. I couldn't think of what the story could be. And I was so thrilled when I read the script, when I realized that Aline Brosh McKenna, our writer, and David Frankel, our director, had actually come up with a story that feels really necessary and relevant. So that way we were all able to come back together, enjoy being together, feel all the nostalgia feels, but actually say something fresh and still have a film that was fun but sharp. And so I was just thrilled to be on the team.
지금 이 질문에 이어서 여쭤보고 싶은 게 약간 좀 실례일 수도 있지만 영화에서 각자 굉장히 고생을 하시잖아요. 근데 저도 아실지 모르겠지만 배우라는 직업을 한국에서 하고 있는데 정말 힘들 때가 있어요. 촬영할 때. 그럴 때 어떤 뭐 음식을 먹거나 아니면 어떤 음악을 듣거나 그러면은 잠깐 힐링이 될 때가 있거든요. 혹시 두 분께도 그런 게 있는지 궁금합니다.
Well, at the end of the day, especially on shooting The Devil Wears Prada 2, I would come into my dressing room, and the happiest moment of the whole day was when I took off my stiletto shoes and I put my feet into the Uggs, my fleece-lined slippers, and it felt so good. And my dog was there. I have a very big dog. He's a rescue. And I look into his eyes, and he looks at me adoringly. He doesn't care what I look like or what I sound like. He loves me, and I take him for a walk, and the whole day, the stresses of the day, go away.
I'm so appreciative of what you just said about, what it is to be an actress, because I think that when people see us here in our beautiful clothes with canapes in front of us at the Four Seasons Hotel, I think people are like, what are you talking about? Being an actress isn't hard. And I'm at an age now where I have young actresses come up to me and they ask for my advice. And I always say, just make sure you really like to work hard. Because whatever the world thinks acting is, that's 4% of it. And the other 96% of it is just showing up early every single day, being on set, dealing with a million things that are out of your control, but having to stay focused and do a good job, never eating food at the optimal temperature, and you're on a team, you're on a group, and no complaining. And there are some films that really ask a lot of you, and there are some films where the chemistry maybe isn't great on set. This was not one of those. Yes, the hours were long, but there was so much joy on set. And we got to shoot in New York where I live, so whenever we wrapped, I would just go, great, I get to go home and see my family and see my dog. And it was just, I don't know, I've just learned, I've had enough experience to know that, when you have the ones that you really have to shake them off, you do whatever you have to do. You light incense, you scream, you eat something that makes you feel good, you make yourself a cup of tea, you listen to a song, you do whatever it takes. This one, there wasn't that much to shake off. You just kind of had to rest to get ready for the next day.
No, but I do feel that there is a need to maintain on the other side of the camera your groundedness in the world, in real life, to put your feet on the earth, to feel nature, to remember you're a human being. Because sometimes when we're performing, you sit outside yourself a little bit, and to come back into your selfness, into your real heart and soul, is restorative. And sometimes they give us only a few minutes to do it, but it's really important.
그러면 이거 반칙인데 하나만 더 여쭤보고 싶은 게 배우로서 이거는 꼭 좀 지켜야 되겠다? 아니면 배우로서 이거는 잊지 말고 꼭 하면서 지냈으면 좋겠다. 조언해 주실 수 있으실 만한 게 있으실까요?
Acting advice, but living advice, you mean? Is that what you mean?
다 좋습니다.
Gosh. Well, I have a mantra. I have a thing I say to myself when I feel the press of attention or sort of outsized, when people react to me like I'm Meryl Streep, this thing, whatever that is, you know. I don't recognize it. I just say to myself, be who you are, know what you know. And it's as big as that and as small as that.
I do wish I'd gone first. It's hard to follow that, but I'll try. I actually found one on this movie, but something happened on set, and an awareness and an ethos came through. So one of the things that I try not to get annoyed about things, but one of the things that always makes me sad is when people come up to me and they say, "Oh, you're an actress, you must be really good at lying."
Oh.
Yeah, and I just say, no, actually, I'm terrible at lying, and that's why I'm an actress. Anyway, so we were doing the emotional climax of the movie, which I can't tell you any details about. But we'd filmed my co-stars' coverage, and they were doing my coverage, and they just needed to move my mark basically from here to here. So they just had to move it over about that much, and I was going to walk the line, and somebody on the crew, I won't say who because I don't want to embarrass him, was telling me about that. And we've known each other for 20 years. And so we're, having banter and going back and forth. And in the back of my head, I'm going, okay, it's the emotional climax of the movie, but you have room for banter. And he's telling me about how it's changed. And then he's making me laugh. And he goes, yep, 24 lies per second, which is not something you want to have in your head before your big emotional close-up. And I couldn't help it. I looked at him and I didn't want to make him feel bad, but I felt like I had to be honest. And I went, ooh, don't say that. And he gave me a look like he knew he had just done something.
Yeah.
And so he just kind of went, sorry, and ran away. And I thought, I don't want him to be wrong. And I don't want him to think that that's what it is. And so I just kind of thought about it, and I rearranged the letters in my head. And I realized you can't spell the word believe without the word lie. So I did my take. And I went up to him and I said, great news. And he said, what? I said, it's 24 believes per second.
믿게 하는
Yeah. And we felt great.
It's really good.
And we felt
Really
great. And we
good.
both felt great about it. And we still love each other.
Yeah.
멋지네요. 시간이 너무 짧게 남아서 함축적으로 몇 가지 질문 드리고 싶은데, 악마는 프라다를 읽는다 2를 찍으시면서 두 분 서로 이렇게 리스펙하는 순간이 있으셨을 것 같고, 개봉이 며칠 안 남았잖아요. 전 세계인이 기다리고, 특히 대한민국의 휴지 팬들이 악마는 프라다를 읽는다를 기다리고 있을 것 같아요. 그분들께 한마디씩 해주셨으면 좋겠습니다.
Well, I never felt respect from this part.
What are you talking about? Literally, the first 20 years of our relationship was me going, hello, hello, it's so good. Can I,
It's
how
never
are
enough.
you?
No, we had a great rapport, and it was easier to make this film because, time has gone by, and I wasn't so feeling I had to hold the authority and stay apart from the rest of the cast, which I did on the first one. But I don't know, the fans, I think, to say what they're going to see, they're going to see a different set of people. I mean, they're going to see the same characters, but deepened by time. All of us. And Emily and Stanley and all the new people that come in and bring all the new energy. Just wonderful actors. It's very funny and it's very light, but it has something sort of meaningful at the bottom of it, at its base, which has to do with how life has become so dispersed and atomized, and how to gather people. That's why it's so exciting that Korea is going to see it first. And I hope they go to the theater to see it with other people, and that they enjoy it that way.
맞습니다. 그러겠습니다. 잘 들으셨죠, 여러분? 극장 가서 보셔야 됩니다.
Well, I think, on the first film, it was impossible not to be so awed by Meryl and then by extension Miranda. And we didn't have the opportunity on the first one to develop an intimate relationship. It was always kind, but it was just the nature of the film. But I've gotten to know Meryl in the years since. She's done lovely things, like if I did a play, she would come to it. I've become friendly with her children. And so, I mean, obviously, you're an actress, and we understand how special Meryl's gift is, but I just respect Meryl so much as a person. I'm so grateful to have learned about the human being she is and the quality of person she is. So I try not to go on about it because I don't want to make her feel uncomfortable. But it's very, very deep inside of me. And then in terms of oh my goodness, what the fans are, I just want everybody to have so much fun. I just think there's so many reasons to nowadays to forget about the pleasure of joy, but it's there, it's ours, it's there for the taking. And yeah, there's plenty of moments that make us either forget it or feel detached from it, but this movie was made with love. This movie was made to entertain by people who have wonderful brains and wonderful hearts. And so I just hope people go and give themselves the excuse to feel a whole lot of joy in a big theater.
Yes.
And especially, here in Korea, because you guys are going to be the first people on the planet to see it. I hope that they go and they just light up the sky for everybody else to let them know what's in store.
Yeah.
감사합니다.
And I also hope that the fans can see in the film where we make each other laugh, where we say things that were not written. They have made their way into the film. All the actors did this. They threw things in, and you probably won't be able to tell because it's so well written. But oh my God, it's very lively. And we make each other laugh a lot in this film.
굉장히 중요한 지점이네요. 여러분 꼭 찾아내시기 바랍니다. 20년 만에 다시 만난 스태프과 배우들이 만든 작품이기 때문에 손발도 잘 맞았을 테고, 그다음에 잘 짜여진 각본 때문에 이제 각본이 잘 짜여지면 애드립도 세련되게 나오기 마련이거든요. 그러니까 그 애드립을 한번 잘 찾아보시기 바랍니다. 2배, 3배로 즐기실 수 있지 않으실까 싶습니다. 오늘 이렇게 두 분을 모시고 대한민국에서 처음으로 방영하게 되는 악마는 프라다를 입는다에 대해서 얘기를 나눠봤습니다. 오늘 메릴 스트립 배우님, 그 다음에 앤 해서웨이 배우님 두 분과 영광된 시간을 마련해봤습니다. 여러분도 즐거우셨길 바랍니다. 감사합니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you so much.
Thank
고맙습니다.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Oh my! Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, how
Thank
darling.
you.
Thank you.
You're so kind.
Oh, these are some of my favorite flowers. Thank you. No. So generous. Thank
No,
you so
really.
much.
Oh my goodness.
영광이었습니다.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the flowers as well.
악마는 프라다를 입는다. 이 영화는 제가 뭐 기분이 좋을 때, 아니면 기분이 우울할 때, 비가 와서, 아니면 눈이 와서 뭐 이런 식으로 해서 제가 많이 챙겨봤던 그런 영화였어요. 근데 이 영화 속에 나오는 사람들이 그래서 정말 친하다는 생각까지 들 정도로 그런 영화였는데 그 영화 속에 미란다 편집장이 제 눈앞에 계셨어요. 정말 메릴 스트립을 동경하지 않는 배우가 있을까요? 근데 그 메릴 스트립과 차를 마시고 저는 정말 숨이 멎는 줄 알았어요. 이렇게 볼록해서 앞으로 물이 나가면 어떡하지? 막 이런 생각이 들 정도였어요. 대화를 나눌수록 이렇게 느껴지더라고요. 이분 역시 치열하게 이 길을 걸어온 선배 배우로서의 그 동질감. 그냥 저 혼자의 착각이겠지만 그냥 선배다. 많이 물어보고 싶고 많이 배우고 싶다 이런 마음이 막 생겼어요. 왜냐면 그분이 눈빛이 너무 따뜻하고 너무 깊으셨어요. 그래서 그게 제게는 무엇보다 큰 격려가 됐고 지금도 그 아우라가 아직도 제 곁에 있는 것 같아요. 근데 바로 그 옆에 햇살 같은 정말 환하게 빛나는 앤 해서웨이의 그 에너지 얼마나 대단한지요. 여러분들 깜짝 놀라실 거예요. 너무 사랑스러워요. 제가 안 그런 것 같지만 낯을 가리잖아요. 근데 저조차도 어떻게 할 수 없을 만큼 막 따라서 막 표정을 짓고 이렇게 막 무장해제 시킬 만큼 다정하더라고요. 말도 너무 스윗하게 잘해주고. 그래서 어떻게 보면 영화 속에서 봤던 그 앤디가 20년 후에 훌쩍 성장한 그 앤디를 직접 마주한 기분이라서 좀 묘한 감동마저 들었습니다. 제가 요즘 배우로서 내가 잘 살고 있는 건가? 궁금한 점도 많고 좀 그랬었는데 잘 살고 있다. 그리고 배우로서의 삶을 이렇게 다시 사랑하게 해준 아주 귀하고 벅찬 선물 같은 하루였습니다. 너무 짧았어요. 여러분, 저 오늘 정말 출세한 거 맞죠? 정말 진짜 가슴 벅차게 행복했고 긴장도 많이 했고 떨리기도 하고 그랬습니다. 이 설레는 마음 그리고 그 두 분의 에너지가 여러분께도 잘 전달되길 바랍니다. 항상 행복하시고요. 우리 다음 브이로그에서 만나요. 안녕.